And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people.
What?
If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
What?
Yeah.
We need some help. We need some very rude help. Hey, rude.
Rock on.
Yeah.
So Florida is trying to pass a bill which is entirely against the First Amendment that would require bloggers who write about the governor and any other elected official to register with the state. Now, newspapers don't have to do it. It's just people like me.
Flat out unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Flat out unconstitutional.
And it's
cut and dried, open, shut.
It's insane to me. Your thoughts, sir?
Oh no, it's straight out of Hungary. It's Orban and Putin all have that rule. And so it's so you can be easily tracked, and this goes along with DeSantis's attempt to change libel laws as a direct attack on the Sullivan decision at the Supreme Court that said that you must show actual malice in order to be able to sue for libel. They're saying they're coming up with bills that say you don't need that. In fact, if you just accuse someone of racism, and you can be sued automatically, and it takes away the actual malice thing. It's a genuine, even if you say something offhandedly,
right,
that you later apologize for, even, you can still be sued. I mean, it's really just, it's making it so that you can't say anything
untoward,
that you can't even call someone, homophobic, for instance, if the policies they support are homophobic, because they're not actually punching LGBTQ people.
Well, and I don't think Fox News would support that, because then it would be easier to sue them.
Oh yeah, no, there's all kinds of things. It's the same thing with the blogger thing, which, by the way, blogger, really? I mean, it's not 2005 anymore, Ron DeSantis. They're substackers now. They're not bloggers. They have newsletters. It's not a blog.
Exactly. No, it's to lower the bar for famous people, people in the public, to lower that bar for them to be able to sue. I disagree with, because being related to somebody that sued a national magazine,
very
successfully,
famously,
the bar was high because she was famous, and Fox News, forget about it. I mean, if my mom had had that kind of evidence, it would have been even easier for her to have won the case. But Fox News is not going to be happy with Sullivan being overturned. Mark my words. If Sullivan is overturned, Fox News will be sued by people like me, and I will win, because the bar will be so low that you walk over it at that point. So I don't think that DeSantis is realizing how the people that supposedly support him will not support this.
Well, I mean, their idea is that as long as they can put out of business anyone who criticizes them. I mean, they're putting in there that you can no longer, that they're taking cops out of the category of people you can publicly criticize.
Wow.
Yeah. So and so that if you say, that cop was racist for shooting an unarmed black man, you can be sued.
Right. And I don't, obviously it's against the First Amendment. It is the first one, by the way. And there is no regulated part in that amendment. The second one has some regulations.
Yes.
The first one, no. So you cannot regulate speech or assembly or the press or whatever. Right. So, but so Biden's going to veto the anti-ESG bill. And when I was reading about this bill, I'm like, seriously? Why would anybody be against?
Right.
Why?
Because they're garbage people.
They are garbage people. Yeah. So Rude, tell us about this bill to let the listeners know.
Okay, I'm going to try my best, and because I'm no, economist or anything like that, but there's been a movement in the last couple of decades that's really caught on in the last couple of years for fiduciaries, for retirement funds and other kinds of funds, to invest in businesses following an idea that they are taking into account the environmental concerns, the E, social concerns, the S, and the G is, which should be the most obvious thing in the world, governance, how the company is run.
Right.
And using those as factors to determine where to put money from, say, a retirement fund.
Right.
And you'd think that, yeah, businesses should be taking into account climate change because it's real. And, they should have that as a concern. They should be treating their workers well because workers that are treated well are more productive.
Yep.
And they should be doing things like diversifying their boards and things like that are also fall under there. And as far as governance, what do you want? You want a bunch of mob-run businesses, essentially. So there are places so these funds are saying when we invest, we take that into account because it helps us predict what's going to be successful in the future.
Right.
Trump administration came in and completely had a rule that banned that said that retirement funds cannot take that into consideration, and it can only be financial concerns. Biden came back and reversed that and said, and didn't order it,
right?
But he said, sure, you should do that.
Why not?
And but it also didn't force you to make decisions on that.
Right.
It was just like doing your financial due diligence to say, hey, is, ultra conglomerate X going to build a factory on land that's going to be underwater in 20 years? That is a stupid example, but
no, but it's
I'm
accurate.
Not smart enough to come up with a better one right now. And so Congress then, with the Republicans in the House and then the Republicans in the Senate, with two Democrats from fossil fuel states, Joe Manchin from West Virginia and John Tester from Montana, voted with the Republicans, and it passed. And so it passed through the Congress. Biden said, yeah, I'm vetoing that. It's going to be his first veto. And because he's like, no, all I'm saying, Trump was saying, you must be crappy. Biden was saying, no, you don't have to be crappy, but I'm not going to force you to not be crappy.
Right.
If you decide to be crappy, you can be crappy.
Right. And when I had my last day job that, I got a paycheck from, we had a 401k, and
right.
The guy that I talked to about it, he goes, where do you want your money put? And I said, things that are not oil based. I said, please don't do that. And that was at my direction. So they didn't do that. And so I don't see why, I don't get why anybody would be against not being a D. Don't be a D.
Yeah.